Making compost. I love making compost. And I love my new compost bins. These have been a long time coming. I don't know why I didn't do this years ago. I at one time did have a major bear problem, and so I didn't want to do these, but we still do have bear around, and sometimes they come down and get in my little compost pile, but nothing major. So if they're going to work at getting into this, they can have whatever they take. But anyways, these bins, they hold about a little over 2 yards per bay. So it makes about 6.5, if my math is correct, about 6.5 yards of compost, which should be plenty for me every spring to amend my beds and to side dress my buckets and my other wooden boxes that I made. So this should be plenty for me, and believe it or not, I think that I'm going to fill all 3 of these in 1 year. So I'm going to show you guys how I made these, but keep in mind I'm an amateur woodworker, so this is a strictly amateur job, so go easy on me. Okay, you're going to need 31 8-foot 1x6 flat top cedar fence boards, and you're going to cut all of them in half except for 6. You're going to leave it 8 feet. Then you'll need 8 of the 8-foot 2x4s, and you'll cut all of them in half at 4 foot. You'll need 2 12-foot 2x4s, 1 roll of poultry netting, the 1-inch 4-foot by 50-foot. Now I had the 2-foot already, and so I just used that, but I'll show you where you would apply the 4-foot. You'll need 8 5-foot U-posts, 12 pieces of scrap lumber, which is 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch at 4 foot, and then you'll need some 1.5-inch deck screws. Okay, so I'm laying down 2 of the 2x4s and then just putting the fence boards across them, and I'm squaring them up with a square to make sure that the whole thing is square. And then I'm just screwing them down with the 1.5-inch deck screws. So I'm laying 5 across here, 1 on each end, 1 dead center, and then just eyeball the other 2. And this is, you'll end up with something like this. And then I'm going to run the poultry netting laterally across the fence boards. Now I had the 2-foot, but you would probably, if you don't have any, then you'll just buy the 4-foot and make 1 pass. But I already had the 2-foot, and so I'm going to make 2 passes to completely cover this. And then just stapling it down with a regular stapler and then cutting them off with some wire cutters. And here I'm making the 2nd pass. Whereas if I had the 4-foot netting, I'd just make one pass and would cover it. I was just too cheap to go out and buy another roll of 4-foot. And then I'm taking two more 2x4s and laying them down on the ends and basically sandwiching the fence boards and the netting, and then just screwing them down 5 or 6 screws. And then this completes the 4 ends and the center dividers. And then I'm standing them up, and I'm going to screw the 2x4, the 12-footers, on the top and bottom. Now you'll notice on the bottom one I had a bunch of 8-footers, so I just married an 8-footer and a 4-footer together. But if you don't have any 8-footers lying around, then you'll just buy 2 12-footers and put 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom. And just make sure you square them up really good. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish up what poultry netting I had left. I didn't have quite enough to finish the whole thing because they were 2-footers, but I'm just stapling what I had. And then I'm laying down the 8-foot fence boards, and then I'm using an 8-footer and a 4-footer, and I'm just staggering them, an 8-footer, then a 4-footer, and then a 4-footer, and 8-footer. So I've got 6 rows altogether here for the back. Now I'm just pounding in the U-posts, and I'm putting one in the front of every one of these, but it's not quite strong enough. And so you'll notice here it's nice and strong with 2. With 1, it's a little rickety. So I'm putting 1 on the sides also. And make sure that you put it back in far enough so that your slats here, you'll be able to have enough room to put those in. So I'm putting 2 of them here, and this will be the guides for the front boards. And then I just cut the boards to fit. They're not 4 foot, of course. I just cut them down to fit. Well guys, that is my version of a 3-bay compost bin for now. I plan on making a lid for it before the fall rains come. But I don't want to make it now because it's just going to get in my way, because we get hardly any rain here in the summertime. So it would just be one of these things I'd have to lift it up to water it with a garden hose and whatnot. So I'm just going to leave it open, let the air break it down, and I can easily water it. And then come along probably September, I'm going to build a lid for it. But for right now, I'm just going to leave it open. I think that's the best thing to do. So anyways, that's it for now, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and we will catch you later.